Hi everyone, I'm Sanjana and I have Pushkal with me today. And let's talk to Pushkal about B2B messaging. So we'll be addressing questions like what is messaging, how to get messaging right, and a lot of other topics. So stay tuned. And let me introduce Pushkal to you. Pushkal is a B2B product marketing expert. After leading marketing efforts for tech business unit at TCS, he now applies his expertise to shape the market presence of NewgenONE. It's a low-code platform for end-to-end automation. So, hi Pushkal, thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, pleasure. Thanks for having me, Sanjana. Would love to share my marketing knowledge with your audience.
Thank you so much, and it's a pleasure to have you here. Right, so let's get started. I wanted to, start by understanding like where did you start your career and where are you now?
All right. Whenever somebody asks me this question, the flashback takes me back to Infosys Mysore. That's how every Infosys starts
Yeah,
their journey. You have a training in Infosys Mysore, which had probably day-long classes that ended up with late night jamming sessions. But I would say that shaped me into a diligent and dedicated individual. Then I decided to pursue my MBA. That was a decision that would eventually open a lot of doors to see business side of things. And then with all the learning and expertise that I had in my B school, TCS gave me that perfect opportunity to showcase what I could bring to the table. It was a challenging transition, but it also showcased the adaptability I had developed early in my career. The
cool.
transition to Newgen was like a stepping into a different world altogether. Here I joined as a product marketer for their flagship product called NewgenONE. And my role here is to ensure that the world knows about this NewgenONE, from creating compelling product narratives to devising go-to-market strategies. I am entrusted with all the responsibilities to take NewgenONE to the next level.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting journey for sure. Cool. Now moving on to a topic, right? Let's probably cover the basics like what is product messaging?
Okay. Interesting one, right? The other day, I was casually browsing this new AI toy by Google. It's called TextFX, and it
Okay.
essentially has 8, 9 internal modules, wherein one of them was it's called point of view, wherein you type in the keywords and it will give you different point of view around those keywords. So I happened to type product messaging over there, and it gave me a perfect message. It says that product messaging is the thing that stands between you and your customer's wallet. That absolutely blew my mind because, of course, brands day in day out talk to their customers. So the kind of messaging that needs to go it is very important, not just for the marketing folks, but for the business overall as well. So your product messaging is something that helps the end customers to understand what your product is offering. It brings that clarity and understanding. Along with that, it builds trust in the customer that okay, there is something that I'm going to get out of this product. When you build trust, of course, in B2B space, long-term relationships matter the most. So with trust comes long-term relationship, and you sort of bring that differentiation in your product vis-a-vis what are the others out there offering in the market. And the most important thing for me is to bring that consistency in all your communications across channels. And if you have a set product messaging, you can build that consistency.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. Now that we've covered what is product messaging, right? Now, how do you do it? Like, how do you get your messaging right? Do you have like any tips or templates that you can share with us?
Sorry. All right. Um, so let me explain you with an example. We will quickly create a messaging right here.
Okay.
Meet Sarah.
Interesting.
Yeah, meet Sarah. She is a product owner who is
Okay.
excited about that product. Now, Sarah has a fantastic product. It's called TraceGuard. It's essentially a track and trace product which traces the large volume of CPG products, be it the upstream or downstream traceability. Now, Sarah and her team crafted a marketing message that focuses on the technical promise of their software. Her message reads like this: advanced track and trace with real-time GPS, blockchain, and RFID tagging. Now, Sarah and her team goes to the market with this message, but soon they realize that okay, this is something that is not resonating well with their customers, with their I mean the entire ecosystem. Now, Sarah turns up to somebody like say Sanjana or Pushkal, and we help them to create messaging which reads like this: elevate your supply chain confidence with TraceGuard, ensure compliance, build trust, and protect your brand. Now, suddenly you see that the new messaging is directly addressed to the concerns of a CPG manufacturer. It'll make more sense. It'll resonate well with that CPG manufacturer. Thus, as I explained before, that it'll instill a long-term, it'll instill a trust in your end customers. It'll help you build that long-term relationship, as well as it'll help the consumer to understand, okay, what's differentiating this product with the others out there in the market. Having said that, the question that you focused on was how to get the messaging right. I myself follow simple 3 rules for that. I feel that whatever messaging that I'm writing, it has to be readable, it has to be believable, and it should be something that is the target audience is willing to listen. Now you have a set framework that every marketer use, that okay, a lot of product marketers start with creating ICP. In order to create ICP, of course, you need to have you need to understand your target audience. You need to know their pain points. You need to know their challenges, their goals, their preferences. Once you do that, then you define the clear objectives, as in for what are you going to use this message? Is it a product launch? Is it a lead gen campaign, or is it a brand awareness? Of course, different messaging would be out there for different objectives. Now, once you define your objective, then you craft your value proposition, a clear and compelling value proposition of unique benefits that your product provides. Once you do that, then you showcase the benefits or solutions if required. And then last but not the least is you test and refine your messaging, because I personally feel, and I am sure that you would agree to this as well, that you cannot get your messaging right at the very first time. You'll have to test and you'll have to refine, and you'll have to go out there in the market, understand the customer feedback, and keep on refining your messaging. Another great quote that I remember I read somewhere was regarding product messaging was, great product messaging is simple, it's differentiated, it's memorable, and it is something that inspires action. So, for example, if I have to give you Steve Jobs, probably the best marketer of our era, when he said that there are 100,000 songs that will be there in your pocket. Vis-a-vis, he could have said that a 5 GB portable MP3 player, but he chooses the 1,000 songs in your pocket. So because that's simple, that's memorable, that's differentiated, and this is something that inspire the customer or the prospect to take some action.
Great explanation there. And from what I understand from you, I also feel like, you just can't get started with product messaging right away. Like, you have to understand your product, your customer. You have to know A to Z of, your ecosystem, right? And then only then you'll be able to come up with the right messaging. It takes a lot of practice and experience, all of that. And having said that,
Absolutely.
yeah, and I wanted to ask you, like, who owns the messaging?
This is an interesting one, because if you ask me, so let me put it this way, that in order to create messaging, you need to know what your customers are talking about. You need to know what your market is saying. You need to know what the product actually is. So it's a collective effort of different functions in your organization, be it R&D, be it product delivery, be it sales, be it marketing, be it competitor analysis team. And for an organization which is less than 100 employee organization, I would say the founders are the best go-to guys to create that product messaging, because they are the one who are doing sales, who are doing marketing, who are doing competitor analysis, who are doing delivery. Um, so they are the best when it comes to a small organization. But when you scale, then probably you might want to give it to marketing function. And again, it depends on various organizations that how your marketing function is aligned. Uh, if you have product marketing teams, that yes, product marketing team of course own the messaging piece over there. But again, the ownership lies with the product marketing team, but most of it, uh, uh, there are contribution from the sales folks, the delivery folks, the
Definitely.
product folks. And on a lighter note, what I've seen is there has always been a tussle between brand marketeers and product marketeers that who will own messaging. But largely, I've seen when it comes to product messaging, it's the product marketing team who does that.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, that's true. Cool. I think the other question that I had in mind was like, have you come across, some messaging fails? If so, like, can you share them with us and also like tell us how to avoid them?
Definitely. I remember that you might also remember there used to be on a lighter note, there used to be a TV advertisement which used to run 24/7 on one particular channel, which used to claim that you wear our sweat slim belt and we'll help you lose your weight quickly without doing any activity. Uh, those used to work back in those days, but I don't think so in today's day and age. The information is readily available to everybody, to your customers and prospects. They will not buy to those claims. So I would say your messaging which has misleading claims, don't do that. As
Okay.
we understood from our first example that I quoted about Sarah and her team going out there in the market with all the technical jargons, this is something that you would want to avoid, because again, as I said, your message should be readable, yeah, should be relatable, should be believable, and should be something that your target audience is willing to listen to. That might not be the technical jargons that you are overloading with. So you might want to stay away from that. Then lack of clarity. If your messaging is confusing your target audience, they might not want to know more about your product. We already know that the attention span is decreasing day by day. So this is something we would want to stay away from. Um, a very interesting piece was there back in 2013. There was a hurricane called Harvey Hurricane, which was in Houston. And in the awe of moment marketing, what Airbnb did was they ran an ad which reads like this: stay above water. Now, they did not expect that it will turn in this way, that they will get an outrage from social media that they are being insensitive. So they, of course, pulled down that ad, and they did whatever was required. But again, insensitive message is something that you would definitely want to stay away from. Then I'm sure that you would have remembered there was a chat messenger platform which was called Yahoo Messenger. And the brand Yahoo was there, the market leader at that point of time, back in 2008, 2009. But from 2009 to 2013, they did a lot of rebranding efforts. So what happened with those rebranding efforts was their messaging kept on changing every other day. So the inconsistent messaging is something that the target audience might perceive that the brand is unable to understand their offering and are unable to differentiate themselves with the other player out there in the market. Just give me a moment, I'll take water.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So are you saying that, we shouldn't be changing the messaging like every now and then? Is there a time frame to test the messaging? Like keep the messaging for 2 months, don't change it, and then after 2 months you're free to optimize and change the messaging to test it again? Is there a time frame like that?
Sure. So there's not there's nothing called a set time frame for this, but in
Mm,
order to change your messaging, you'll have to understand how the current message is being perceived by
okay,
your customers, by your prospects.
okay,
Once you understand the customer feedback, I'll give you a good example of this. The other day, I was talking to one of my friend. She works for VMware, and they have a product called VMC AWS Lite.
Okay.
Now, they launched this product in the market, and suddenly uh, they got a backlash from their customers that, hey, it's being perceived that we are being sold something which is called Lite. This is the lighter version of a product which is already existing. So that's the kind of customer feedback that they got, and immediately they changed the name of the product to VMC Standard or VMC Advanced. So that's what I'm trying to get into. That
Yeah,
understand
makes
the
sense.
feedback from your customers from the market, and then probably change your messaging. If you are good enough with your messaging, why to reinvent the wheel? That's the
Yeah,
whole idea.
got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
Coming back to other few of messaging fails that I would like to share with the audiences is that you would not want to over and under target your target customers and prospects, because again, under targeting and over targeting might change your messaging drastically, and it will create a confusion in the target audience. It might not be relatable, it might not be believable to them. So this is something that you want to stay away from. And of I mean, we all have seen that how brands do not adopt to changing times. A lot of technologies come in, but they focus on what's working for them for too long. Again, as I said, that in order to keep your brand fresh, you have to understand what's happening there in the market, how your brand is being perceived by the customers, by the prospects, and keep on changing according to the changing times. You have to adapt to the changing times. So these are few
Got
of the
it.
messaging fails that I would want to discuss that brands and product marketers would like to
Definitely.
stay away from. Yeah.
Definitely. And let's also talk about, some example of some brands that have excelled in their messaging strategy. Do you have anything like that?
Sure. Um, when it comes to brilliant messaging strategy, there are few brands that just flashed in front of me. First and foremost is Salesforce, of course. Salesforce has this concept called customer success.
Yeah.
The customer centric approach is so much into them that they position themselves as partners who are helping businesses achieve customer success. Now, through this customer success concept, they have something which is called Trailblazers community.
Yeah.
Now, this community has this community centric messaging showcase, showcasing real success and stories of its users who are driving innovation in their industries.
Okay.
Now, this is something that absolutely blew my mind, because again, if you celebrate the success of your customer, you are definitely going to get business. Then another good example we all talk about is Freshworks, of course. Then Freshworks is uh, I mean, they say themselves that they are the affordable and the scalable software out there in the market. Now you have to understand what sort of target audience that they cater to, and what are their goals and visions 5 years down the line. They are probably might be targeting MSMEs who want to scale fast and uh, be at some point of time in 5 years down the line, but currently they are not at that scale where they can afford a software which is probably burn their pockets. So
Okay.
affordability and scalability is something that resonates very well with their audiences, and bang on that they have cracked this code, and then their messaging revolves around affordability and scalability. I remember reading through uh, so uh, in in my current job, Infosys Finacle is one of our partners, and I remember reading their messaging. They recently did a brand refresh, and they call themselves their new messaging says inspire better banking. Now they say that there are multiple players out there in the market who might be doing what we do for you, but hey, there's always a scope to do better. You can do better tech, you can do better innovation, you can do better operations, you can better engage with your customers. So inspire better banking. I recently spoke to a few of the folks in Infosys Finacle marketing product marketing team as well, and they said that this campaign was, I mean, greatly received by their target audiences, because in order to stay competitive in the market, you are constantly looking for something better than what you currently have. Now, last, I would also want to share something which is very close to my heart. Uh, this is for TCS. Back in 2021, TCS underwent a large brand refresh, wherein our brand vision in itself changed. TCS was perceived as a cost optimization partner back then, but they wanted to perceive as a business innovation partner. Now, in order to do that, we came up with a brand messaging which says that building on belief was the concept. We says that we build on the belief of our customers. We believe, I mean, if you say that cash is going to be extinct, we say that, okay, we will help you partner to create digital wallets. That in itself completely changed the perception of TCS from a cost optimization partner to a business innovation partner, because whatever belief is there with our customers, we are there out there to build on them, and that the whole narrative completely changed, and we got huge success with building on belief campaign. Of course, it was a 360-degree campaign, not just the change of messaging, but lot other changes of visual, changes of other things as well. But these are the few um, real world examples that I could share, brands who have excelled in their marketing messaging strategy.
I think it's all interesting examples. Like I've not heard anyone, talk about TCS and how Freshworks is doing, and Salesforce, right? And I think you have some good, unique point of view when it comes to messaging. I can really see that in you. Cool.
Sure.
Just one last question before we wrap this up. Like, what should a brand do to stand out in the digital crowd? Because the market is crowded right now. So what should a brand do to stand out?
Absolutely. I mean, everybody would agree to this fact that market is crowded as ever currently. I read a quote somewhere which said that visual content is expected to account for 82% of all the content that is being generated by 2023. Now that's a
Okay.
15-fold increase from 2017. Now brands are, of course, if they want to stand out in the digital crowd, they'll have to look something beyond the visual. For that, an interesting thing happened recently. And but before that, before I share that interesting piece with you, um, do you remember that whenever you open let's say a web series or a movie on Netflix, uh, the tadam sound paired
Yeah.
with the N animation comes up?
Yeah.
Or for that matter, do you remember the iconic Intel sound called pum 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 pum?
Definitely can't forget
Again,
that.
of course. So all these are called oral logos. Brands are using oral logos
Okay.
in order to stand away in the cluttered digital crowd of visuals, of let's say videos. Now, these oral logos have multiple use cases. You can, for a B2B brand, I'm saying, you can use these oral logos in your webinars, in your events, in your podcast audio content, in your trade shows, in your product videos or demos as well. Now, if you go and tell a brand marketer that, hey, your brand recall value is getting enhanced without somebody reading anything about your organization or without visualizing anything about your organization, he'll be on cloud nine. That's the
Definitely.
power of oral logo. Now, the brand that I was talking about, again, is very close to my heart because I started my career from that organization. Infosys recently launched their oral logo, and they ran a campaign around it, which is called Sound of Opportunity. Now, this Sound of Opportunity is their oral logo, and they are promoting it in a very unique way, and it's a marketing genius. I'm absolutely fan of Sumit, who's the CMO at Infosys. This marketing genius strategy is such that they have invited uh, their target audience or anybody for that matter to come and engage with Sound of Opportunity. They have a landing page on this. You go there, you click on that Sound of Opportunity. The Oro logo will play, of course. And once this Sound of Opportunity is played for close to about million times, they will educate 1,000 college grads as well as 1,000 underprivileged. And this whole training will be provided by the professionals sitting at Infosys. So this is something that people relate to and they would want to contribute it to the society. So that's a brilliant way to actually engage with your target audience. On that note, I would also request folks who are listening to us go to the Infosys Sound of Opportunity landing page and play their Oro logo. You might want to contribute to those 1,000 sitting out there who are in need to be trained by Infosys professionals.
Definitely, I'm gonna share that link in the description as well, so people can go check it out. I think I've not heard of
Absolutely.
Oral logo anywhere before. I think this is a new information for me, and I'm like really interested to go check that out. And that's a brilliant idea as well, right? We hear the Netflix sound like every day, but then we've not
Yeah.
thought of we don't know that there is a story behind that. So that's really interesting.
Of
Cool.
course. Another few examples of it is when you do a payment on Google Pay, for that matter, that there's
Yeah,
one unique sound.
yeah.
Then
Also in phone
whenever you
pay,
order something, yeah,
Swiggy,
and
yeah.
whenever you order something from Zomato, you get a
Yeah, we
sound.
do. We do.
And of course,
Interesting.
the iconic sound of Indian Premier League. Nobody could forget that.
Definitely, yeah. That's nice. That's nice. I think I learned something new today. I'm gonna go read about it after the session today. Cool.
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's the end, Pushkal. That this was absolute fun. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I'll definitely share the links in the description and also give your LinkedIn profile link in the description so people can connect with you later to talk more on this topic if they need it.
Sure.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's it. It was nice talking to you, Pushkal, and talk to you
Same
again.
here.
See you.
Pleasure, Sanjana. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.